So I have developed a simple application in PHP, and for that I have run my Docker client. For that I installed Docker. So here my Docker is running, and then I need to check whether the Docker is running or not. So for that we have set of Docker commands, right? To check Docker is running or not. So Docker no process is running. So if I want to access this application on my browser, on local, so it's not working, right? In my local, I installed Docker application, Docker, and then a simple application using PHP MySQL, and I haven't installed anything. I just want to show you like how using Docker we can install or run any application. So in this application, I just let me show you the code base. Here is the code base. In this file, so to run any application using Docker, we need to create a Docker compose file. Okay. In Docker compose file, we need to mention the services, what kind of services we are going to use within that application. Suppose in this application, I'm going to run PHP and MySQL DB. So I have write this composer file that way. If you want to install or run any kind of other application using other software, Node.js or Next.js, Java application, whatever it is, you need to mention that in your Docker compose file. So in what port I'm going to use to run this application? 8081 port. Then this is volume where we where we connect our local directory into containers directory volume. We, inside the container, we will see all our files there where www.html, and then it's depend on DB. Then there is another container which is I'm using MySQL here, container name, then environment, what kind of the dependencies used for that, password and all, then what port we are using for that MySQL. So if now if I run docker compose up command, docker compose up command is used to run the Docker application. So it creates the containers. So two containers are created, one for PHP Apache and one for MySQL. Now, if I check this on my local system, on localhost 8081, it should work. So this simple application is working. Right. So if I run Docker PS, it shows two containers are running. My Docker app, web, Apache, and to run the application, PHP application and MySQL. So if I want to log in inside the container, then I can log in using Docker exec it container ID and bash. So I logged into inside the container. So if I want to see in my database, so I can log in MySQL. What are the password? What is the password? Root. I'm able to inside my MySQL. So now I can show the list of databases. Use MyDB. There is only one table. Select from users. You can see here that I want to show you like how we can deploy this code on server on production. So for that we need to create a server. So I have created a EC2 instance on Amazon AWS. So I'm using ports. So I'm using here 8080 port for my Jenkins and 801 port for my application. The same IP I'm using here to access my application, which is I have this server's IP 384, right, 26. The same application I'm running here. Now I just want to show you like how we can create a simple CI/CD to deploy this application on production. I created this server, then I installed Jenkins. Let me log in into Jenkins, and I created simple CI/CD pipeline to deploy the application on production. So here I created, when you logged in into the Jenkins, there is an option to create a new pipeline. I just given the simple description. Then I mention my Git repository path here. What is the Git repository I am using to for this application. Then I choose here GitHub hook triggers for Git SCM polling. That means whenever we commit anything in our code and push it on GitHub, then Jenkins server automatically the Git server is push that code to Jenkins server, and then Jenkins server is automatically deploy that code on AWS server. So if we use this option, all SCM, there is we can design CI/CD pipeline two ways: push-based approach and pull-based approach. In push-based approach, the Git server push the code base to the Jenkins server, then Jenkins server deploy that code on AWS servers. And in pull-based approach, the Jenkins server pull the code on a interval, whatever interval you set, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, whatever it is. For particular interval, the Jenkins server pull the code and then deploy on servers. If I check in both ways we can, I will show you how we will deploy the code. Then in Git repository, you need to go to settings. Your after clicking on your repository, you need to go to settings. Then here there is a option webhooks. In webhooks, you can add new webhook where we need to put our this URL here, because I have developed this application only demonstration purpose. So that's why I'm here mentioning the IP of my server. Otherwise, we can mention here our URL of our application. Then now, if let's check the application is working on the same server, like here, same server for 8080 port I am using for CI/CD for Jenkins, and to access my application I am using here on the same server 8081 port. So let's make a small change and commit, and let's see the changes. So currently our application is showing welcome to application. The application is running through Docker container, right? Now I need to make some changes in this text. I have added this text, and let me commit this. Git add and push origin master. Committed. Let's check, goes here. One more commit here, one more automatically. It's earlier it was 26 number, now it is 20 27, right? Let's check. It's added, right? The application is deployed using CI/CD pipeline. So that means our push-based approach is working. Now let's make a small change. Make it pull-based approach. Now it will check after every minute if there is any code change or not. After every minute, it will pull the code from GitHub and deploy. So again, let's make a small change. I am going to remove this change. Again, let's Now, automatic these changes should reflect in production after 1 minute, right? It's gone. So that means our CI/CD pipeline is working perfectly.